Hey everybody, how you doing? Welcome. I'm Brett Ween. I'm the senior communications writer at the American Foundation for Suicide Prevention. Um, I am so thrilled to be here for the second of our new Real Convo concert series, where we invite musicians on who have sung about issues related to mental health, and I get to have my own little private concert with them that they put on for me, and I talk to them about what inspired their songs and then someone pointed out that we should probably broadcast it for more people, so it's not just a private concert for me. And I said, okay. Um, if you're not familiar with AFSP, I just want to tell you a little bit about it. The American Foundation for Suicide Prevention is America's largest suicide prevention organization. We have chapters in all 50 states. If you look down below, we'll have a link where you can find a local chapter near you just by typing in your zip code. We have education programs. We have amazing loss and healing support programs for people who've been affected by suicide. We have what I like to think of as sort of an army of volunteer field advocates and a public policy office where we push for smarter mental health and suicide prevention legislation. And we're the largest private funder of suicide prevention research, which you probably are surprised that there's research related to suicide prevention. Well, there is. It's a health thing. We all have mental health, just like we all have physical health. And the research that we fund um, kind of helps us know how we can save more lives in the future. Um, and we have walks. We have walks in all these local communities. Um, right now, suicide prevention is more important than ever before. So if you are so inclined, I would like to encourage you to be part of our Give to AFSP campaign. There's a link down below. I'm going to keep pointing down below to your Facebook feed. So while you're watching the concert, if you want to help us continue our life-saving work, that would be amazing. Um, so the other thing I want to point out before getting into who our guest is, I'm so excited about it, is that we're going to be taking live questions from the audience, you. And again, pointing down below, if you want to type in your questions, we will get to those. Um, I do want to say also that, for a lot of people, when they see just, either the name of AFSP or just the word suicide, they think, um, gosh, that seems really serious. And for some people, it seems like a scary word. But, a lot of what suicide prevention isn't about that horrible moment where someone is like immediately right in that moment of being in danger and is really struggling. That's sometimes what it's about, but a lot of suicide prevention is actually reaching people, just the average person who's doing okay, and getting them more comfortable talking about their mental health, knowing how to reach out for help, knowing what the warning signs are so they can, be on the lookout for their friends and the people in their lives. Um, and so that's part of what we're going to be talking today about with our amazing guest, Louis Knight. So if you're like me, you probably saw Louis this past year on American Idol, where he was a top 7 finalist. Um, Sort of what makes the topic of this conversation a little bit bittersweet, but I think hopeful too, is that Louis has firsthand experience losing a friend, his friend Russell, to suicide. And he wrote such a beautiful song about it called Change, which he performed when he first appeared on American Idol. And it wowed Lionel Richie and Katy Perry and Judge Luke Bryan, who immediately said, I think he may be the biggest star we've ever had on American Idol. I certainly agree with that. Um, and maybe even more importantly, Louis reached millions of people over the course of the season as he continued to speak openly about the loss of his friend and how that impacted his own mental health and how he kind of dealt with that grief and recovered and became healthy about it and developed a new outlook. He's continued writing incredibly personal songs that touch on issues of mental health. He just performed on Disney's Thanksgiving Day celebration. And tonight he's going to be debuting a new song, London, as well as treating us to a new take on a holiday classic. I could go on, but I think right now the time has come for me to simply say, welcome, Louis.
Hi Brett, how are you? Thank you for having me.
Oh my God, it's my pleasure. I feel like we've been talking to each
We
other for
have.
like a year, but we haven't actually, we've been on the phone, we've been on speakerphone,
Yeah, I
etc.
know. It's so good to finally see your face, and I just can't thank you enough for doing this in general, having me a part of it. You know, the AFSP has been a foundation really, really close to my heart over the last few years. So I'm just so honored to be a part of it and help share the message.
Well, it's my pleasure, and I think, as I was saying before, I think just sometimes just talking about it openly, it sends this message to other people that, when we this is a silly, comparison in a way, but like when if our leg hurts, we say, "Oh gosh, my leg hurts. I need to go to the doctor. I need to get some help." Um, and mental health, the brain is a physical organ in our body. Mental health is just as real as physical health. And by you talking about
Absolutely.
it in general and about your loss, I think it lets other people know that this is not a unique. If they're going through something like that, um, they're not alone. And it's something that it's not just okay to talk about it, but it's really necessary.
Absolutely. It really is tremendously necessary. And as you said, it does almost feel silly to say that, but it's so true. And that's kind of, I guess, what we're trying to undo. Because it is equally as important. It's 50-50. Like, we all have mental health. We all have physical health. And it should be exactly the same as, oh, I've hurt my leg. We all have it. And just to open the real convo, have a real convo, to just know that you can go to your loved ones or your parents, and have an open conversation about how you're feeling, where you are right now mentally. It's so important just to know that it's okay to speak about these things and to try to normalize that. I think is going to help so many people. So yeah, thank you guys for doing. Thank you, AFSP, for everything you do.
Well, yeah, thanks for being here. And I think the first song you're going to be playing for us tonight uh, is Change, which was, I
Yeah.
think, inspired by the loss of your friend Russell. Um, Before you play it, could you tell us a little bit about that experience and what kind of emotions you may have felt after you found out Russell took his life? And I wonder what songwriting did to help you make sense of your own feelings, if that's what happened.
Yeah, when we found out that Russell had passed, your entire world stops. It really just everything stops, and I don't even know when I began to start healing. Really, I think it's something I do every day, and I try to keep his memory alive. But I had tried to write about change so many times. I had tried to kind of write about this, going through this grief and loss. I mean, Russell was one of my brother and I's best friends, our first friend that we ever had when we moved to America. My brother and him were on the soccer team together, and he was just part of our family. Um, I tried to write about it so many times, and I just couldn't. Nothing was exactly the way I wanted it said, and the way I really felt. And then I guess that's how songwriting is for me. I mean, it's really therapeutic, and I'm so lucky to have it as an outlet. Um, and then enough times of trying and trying to write about it. Then one morning, my mentor at the time, he was kind of helping me with songwriting. Um, I was asleep and he called me early. Bearing in mind, it wasn't actually early. It was like 9 o'clock in the morning. But I was trying to sleep in, and he was like, "We're so lucky to do music every day, like get up and start the day and like just go and try to write something." And then I went downstairs to my piano, and I within 40 minutes change had just come out, and I mean that's it completely. Songwriting for me is therapy. It helped me heal and come to peace with a lot of things that I hadn't even known that I was really feeling. Yeah, that's the
Well,
story behind Change. I wrote it as a tribute to Russell and everything he brought to this world, and as a message of hope for everyone else out there suffering. Let's get started. Here we go. to wait here for hours just to find a way out. Had to sit down with the devil just to see what he was about. These pages in my notebook, they've been running out of space. Yet this textbook's filled with problems, but I still can't concentrate. I've been waiting here, running back and forth. I've been losing sleep, having second thoughts. I'm lucky to live another day. But how would you feel if I showed you my mistakes? And what if I learned to walk away? See, I'm concerned it'll all go to waste. It's time for change. Had to jump into the water just to find a way to float. See, life, it comes in waves and it's full of highs and lows. But Russell taught me there's wisdom in my soul. And deep down, I think we're as good as gold. No more waiting here, running back and forth. No more losing sleep, having second thoughts. No more. I'm lucky to live another day. But how would you feel if I showed you my mistakes? And what if I learned to walk away? See, I'm concerned it'll all go to waste. It's time for change. To live another day. But how would you feel if I showed you my mistakes? And what if I learned to walk away? See, I'm concerned it'll all go to waste. I'm lucky to live change. Thank you guys.
Oh my God. I love that song more every time
Thank you.
I hear it.
Thank you, Brett.
I'm going to give you a second to have some water and relax. Because it occurs to me that it would be a good thing for me to mention that if anyone watching this has lost someone to suicide or knows someone who's lost someone to suicide, one particular program we have that I want to mention is called the Healing Conversations program. And through that, there are trained volunteers who have themselves lost someone to suicide, and they have healed from that experience. And they can have a conversation with you where they provide a little bit of perspective and give you some more understanding, because you're going to have so many questions, and anything I can say about it won't do justice to how terrible that probably how that is. I know myself. I'd lost someone to suicide. So healing conversations. You can check that out on afsp.org. Sure,
Go
we'll have
check
the
it out,
link
please.
just underneath. So Louis, again, I just really love that song.
Thank you, Brett.
It becomes more and more meaningful to me every time I hear it. Um, Knowing the background that led you to write it, could you tell us a little bit more specifically about? There's some lyrics actually that popped out at me when I was listening to it just now, and so I'm going to quote you back to you, if you don't mind.
Absolutely, let's do it.
I'm lucky to live another day, but how would you feel if I showed you my mistakes? And what if I learned to walk away? So, what is that? What do those lyrics along with the song title mean to you?
I those lyrics to me, we sometimes we don't necessarily realize it, and sometimes we are so lucky to be here, and we all have mental health, as I said earlier. We all go through a lot, and at times, and I think when I talked about my mistakes, I was really talking about me personally. Sometimes there are things that I wish could have been done differently, things I wish I didn't do. And I mean, that's the thing, is we're human. We're all human. We fall down and we try to get back up. We all live through highs and lows, and I think that the takeaway in that was, for me, is just that we're all human. And that's what Change, I decided to name the song Change, and I wrote it as Change because we need more and more people to, there are so many people that suffer, and we need more people to feel like comfortable having an open conversation about their mental health, which is exactly what we're doing today, and getting resources to people once they feel like they can have that conversation with a friend or a loved one, and just being open about it, then kind of directing them to resources, to mental health professionals that can help. And we just need change. We need more people to not feel so alone, and to normalize the conversation surrounding suicide prevention and mental health. And that's kind of what this song is to me.
Yeah, I mean, that kind of makes me think of, I think I think especially young people, more and more people know, oh, it's important to talk about mental health. But, once you say that and understand that, it's still like, well, you may not know how to have that conversation. Um, or
Absolutely.
you might be afraid of getting it wrong or something. Um, so I'll also point out, I think below we're going to have links to, as part of our Real Convo campaign, we have these Real Convo guides that give people guidance on how to have specific conversations, whether you're worried about someone or whether you're struggling, how do you talk to someone and let them know? Um, Things like that. There are 4 different guides. So,
The guides are amazing. If I may just interject, sorry
oh,
I cut
thanks.
you off.
No.
They're amazing. I've read them, and if you're looking to kind of work out how you can better that conversation with a loved one or a friend or family, please go check them out. I remember I read them a couple months ago, and they taught me so much that I thought that I knew, but it just opened up my perspective to it all. So they're very, very important. So go check them out at the link, please.
Oh, thanks. Well, our next, do you think should we gear up for another song?
We can absolutely gear up for another song.
Awesome. So the next song you're going to do, drum roll please, for everyone watching, is Save a Little Love. So could you tell us a little bit about what inspired this one? I'm kind of curious in terms of the timing of when you wrote it. Had some time gone by since you wrote the earlier song? And what's this one kind of about?
I kind of wrote them around the same time. At least began writing Save Little Love around the same time. So basically, I wrote Change about a year after Russell's passing, and excuse me. And basically, I was in this period of time where I had just graduated high school in 2018, and I was really lucky to have the support of my parents to basically allow me to pursue my career as a singer-songwriter. So I took basically a gap year, which I like to call a bit open-ended. But I basically took a gap year to focus on music, and I had been writing and recording. And at the time, in 2018, after graduating high school, my girlfriend at the time, my ex-girlfriend, she had gone off to college, and naturally that fizzled out, as those things do. And I was at home, and all my friends were away, and I was working as a pizza delivery driver and trying to come here to this studio and record and learn as much as I possibly could every like multiple days a week. And I basically was just going through quite a dark period of time, just in terms of that, and just kind of not having my people around anymore, and kind of coming a lot of that as that relationship fizzled out. A lot of those unresolved feelings of Russell's passing started to bubble up, and I was just in this period of time where I didn't really treat myself that well, I think, and I just didn't really self-love as much as I should have. And on the surface, this song is a love story, but really for me, it's about coming to the realization of self-love and how important that is for us all to do. I just kind of had that conversation with myself one day, and I said, what can I do? What things can I do to make me love myself? What things do I value that will make me feel fulfilled? And I think that was really important, and it helped me a lot. So this is that song. I'm rambling. This is Save a Little Love. Hope you enjoy. I've been sipping and sinning. This career is all I have, and it's only beginning. I've been pushing my limits. Is it wrong? I wish you were here with me, thinking back to the days you made me feel alive. And now till the day that I feel alright, it's just a different kind of sunshine. Sunshine. And what if I don't trust another? Then I might just have plenty lovers to wait on through the lonely night and keep my spirit alive. Why do I go home to nothing when I was made for loving? But in good time, but in good time. Save a little love for me. I've been going under and I can't find my feet. At night you come to mind and I find it hard to breathe. Save a little love for me. Haven't seen you in ages. It's hard putting feelings to pages. Should've just stayed in. Lately I've been lacking inspiration. If I could have found a way to make it right, then lead my heart and my career to divide. Maybe we'd see each other in a different light. A different light. But what if I don't trust another? Then I might just have plenty lovers to wait on through the lonely night and keep my spirit alive. Why do I go home to nothing when I was made for loving? But in good time, but in good time, no. Save a little love for me. I've been going under and I can't find my feet. At night you I don't trust another, then I might just have plenty lovers to wait on through the lonely night and keep my spirit alive. Why do I go home to nothing when no one's made for loving but in good time? But in good time, no. Save a little love for me. I've been going under and I come for more feet. Oh, at night you come to mind and I find it hard to breathe. Save a little love for me. Thank you all so much.
That was just that was just beautiful, Louis. Thank you. It's so interesting to hear you sing that in the context of this conversation because it does sound like it's just, it's a love song, but it's so much deeper than that. Um,
Thank you.
wouldn't it be amazing if, you mentioned what your former job had been,
Yeah,
and I know we both grew up in the same area.
yeah, it's
So I
crazy.
can picture it immediately. I can picture you delivering a pizza to my childhood home. Wouldn't it be amazing if every pizza delivery guy could sing like this?
You know what? There would be yeah, I mean that would be amazing, wouldn't it? If you could show up and just sing at the door, and you might, Save a Little Love for Me could be like the song to get more tips, maybe. So, I mean,
Yeah,
pizza delivery drivers, if you want to like try to sing this when you next deliver, maybe you'll get some more tips. I don't know.
maybe, definitely. I immediately feel the stress of whoever's answering the door. It's like, oh my God, I just have a five, you know?
That would be amazing. That's golden.
That's a good problem to have. Um,
Absolutely.
well, I did want to ask you about a few lyrics for this song too, because I've just been listening to your music this whole year, really, and in
Thank you.
particular this last week, getting psyched up for this. Um, and some lyrics stood out for me with this listening to it just now. Thinking back to the days you made me feel alive, and now to the day that I'll be all right. What are you trying to get across with those words?
Again, I think it was a bit of a double entendre, and it's like I'm so fortunate to write because sometimes like I don't realize I'm doing a double entendre or anything. I just kind of I'm writing very singular emotion on or basically on the piano, and it all just kind of pours out, and then later on I find new meanings in it, which is I guess the beautiful thing about music. Um, in those words, I was talking about at that time, like the basically both the loss of that relationship, but also when we're struggling, when we're going through a hard time. I was talking about almost myself. I wasn't feeling like my old self. I was really kind of down and depressed at the time, and I think that's kind of what I was trying to talk about. Because there are times where we all feel alive, and there are times that we all feel down, and that's life.
Yeah, I know I keep saying some version of this, but it's not, don't worry, it's not about pizza again. Um,
No, you're fine.
but, just having you say that, I mean, you're someone, Louis, who you're so young and you've achieved so much in
Thank you.
front of so many people, with both American Idol and everything your whole music career, which is just like exploding now,
Thank you so
with
much.
everything you're doing. And yet, you're talking about how even you go through, moments of feeling anxious or depressed. And I think that
Yeah,
just helps people realize, if they're going through that too, that's just part of human nature. We all have those moments.
we
And
do.
there's no shame in just getting support for it.
Absolutely, there isn't. So thank you so much for that. Yeah, I mean, we all go through the motions of life, and and it's totally okay to seek help. Even I see a counselor as therapy, but also as he helps me also with my work, with being a singer songwriter, with performance counseling as well. And I think honestly, the world would be such an amazing place if we all could have therapy. You know, I think it's so important for a lot of people.
I agree. Thanks for saying that. Um, so I'm really excited for you to perform this next song for us. But first, I want to remind people, if they need reminding, that after this song, we're going to be taking some questions from the audience. So if you're watching, just type them in below. So now, Louis, what can you tell us about this truly new song that you have for us that you're going to be performing?
Yes, I'm so excited to play it for you all. You know, I played it I think twice on my road trip tour that I just did. We kind of were safely socially distanced playing to kind of fans in outside their houses and in Walmart parking lots across the country. And it was just the most amazing experience. And so I think I played it about twice on that, but I'm so excited to play London for you all. It's going to be coming out in January. We haven't really selected a date yet, but I will let you guys know very, very soon, guys and gals. And yeah, this is kind of another love song, but it's about that kind of. It's really the message in it is kind of going back home, because I think that's really important. This is London. Oh yes. If I could find it in myself to call you, we probably wouldn't be here right now. Honestly, I just wanna see you shine now. And I know it's hard to fight it when I can't make sense of what we mean, but we knew our hearts were divided. I have to do this for me. We got too damn close for comfort, so I'm heading back to London. I've been hanging around in Brixton trying to get you out my system. People tend to talk a lot, but I tend not to listen. If only we could go back and relive last summer. Been adjusting to the distance, I hate to admit it, but ever since I left I've been a mess and reminiscing. So take me back to last summer. And I know it's hard to fight it when I can't make sense of what we mean, but we knew our hearts were dividing. I had to do this for me. We got too damn close for comfort, so I'm heading back to London. Oh, 'cause I need time and you need space. I'll only find it on this plane, so I'm heading back to London. 'Cause I need time and you need space. I'll only find it on this plane, so I'm heading back to London. I know you think about it sometimes. Late night Philly drives chasing far, but we put it to the back of our minds. It's getting late and I want you tonight. Yeah, I want you tonight. But we got too damn close for comfort, so I'm heading back to London. Oh, 'cause I need time and you need space. I'll only find it on this plane, so I'm heading back to London. So I'm heading back to London. So I'm heading back to London. So I'm heading back to London.
just I can't come up with new words to
Thank you, Brett.
after hearing each of these songs. Although it makes me think, if someone went to afsp.org and they looked up, and there's all kinds of wonderful stuff to help you understand more about mental health and suicide prevention, whether it's, you know, learning the warning signs, learning what to do about them, learning about the research, etc. We can say, we can put the science in front of you, we can put all the guidance in front of you, but when you have an individual expressing their own emotion, um, it's a whole other dimension to it. If I were a space alien, and I'm not saying I am, this would be a weird time and place for me to admit that. But if I were and I didn't speak English, I would hear that music and the emotion would absolutely come across for all of these songs. And so it's just a whole other dimension of communication. And it's amazing to hear that it helps you process some of your feelings. It certainly gets across a lot of inspiration to other people when they hear them.
Thank you. I just, yeah, I'm so lucky to have this outlet and to be able to tell the stories of things I experience in my life, and try to help people that experience the same things not feel so alone. I guess that's like the beauty of music, and how it's just interpreted differently. Everyone can interpret it their own way, which is kind of the beauty behind how powerful music is. Really a testament to that.
Yeah, well, we are indeed getting some questions, so we're going to get to them
We
in a
are.
second. I'm so excited. I wanted to ask you though, really quickly about this song. Some of the lyrics are, "We got too damn close for comfort, so I'm heading back to London." And then you admit, "If I could find it in myself to call you, we probably wouldn't be here right now." And to me, that sounds like you're, tell me if I'm wrong, but it sounds like you're talking about feeling scared about getting too close. And yet, that if you can find some way to communicate about what you're feeling, it would just make all the difference.
Absolutely. I mean, that is almost spot on. So thank you for kind of seeing that. I those kind of lyrics that the if I could find it in myself to call you. I mean, hang on. There were two parts to that. I'll basically I'll start from if I could find it in myself to call you. Um, at the time I was just going through. I mean, I wrote this at the same time I was basically still like kind of around the same period that I wrote Change. So I was still processing all that grief and that loss, and then and my girlfriend at the time, that had fizzled out, and this was kind of on the surface again about that, and about just I think at that point, if I guess it, like, things are so easy sometimes. It's just a phone call, but sometimes those things are the hardest things to do. And I think at the time, I didn't want to pick up the phone because we'd basically kind of started losing communication, had just kind of fizzled out, and I think I knew if I picked up the phone, that I knew it was over at that time, and that's why it was hard to do as I was going through that, and then about going to London, it's really about just when we're all kind of going through when we're all like going through a hard time. I think it's so important that we kind of go back to what we know, and go back to our family and our loved ones, and for support. I mean, that's the amazing thing about family and loved ones is we're all here for each other. And I think that I basically wrote that. I'm originally from London, Brighton in England, and I have all my extended family over there. So that around that time, I actually went back home. Well, Philly's home now, but I went back to basically to see my family, and it really helped me just kind of being surrounded with the people I've grown up with that have helped me grow my entire life. I think that's always important for us to do.
That's great. And family is, we all have our own home base, whether that's physical or emotional, and whether it's family or if it's whoever we make our family or our
Absolutely.
friends. Yeah. So now's the time we're going to take some questions.
Amazing.
from our viewers. So let's get into it, and then we're gonna hear one more after that. You're gonna play a nice holiday song
A
for
little
us that I'm
holiday
really
song.
excited about.
Absolutely.
Um, so what helps you manage the emotions that come with live performing?
You know, I think there are so many different emotions that come with live performing. I used to be terrified to perform. I used to be so scared to go out on stage, and I would kind of black out. I'd forget everything, and my anxiety, I'd shake and get like, I think the first time I tried to perform at an open mic, like it went okay, but I was just overly critical, obviously, and I think I had like hot sweats. I was like freaking out. But I think I just try to channel that emotion. And I think like in terms of the emotions of I mean these are a lot of stories that I've kind of like lived through because that's how I write. I think I just try to go back to that moment and how I was really feeling in that moment that made me want to write that song, and I try to bring that out and go back to that.
Um, that's fantastic. So
Thank you.
thank you for that question. Whoever wrote that.
Thank you very
This,
much.
yeah. This is a really personal question.
Yeah,
So Louis, let me know if you're up for it.
absolutely.
It's okay if you're not. Uh, what is your favorite memory with Russell?
There are so many. I think it's probably was around the time he basically kind of sat with me once when I was writing a song. I um I was just going through a rough patch, you know. We all have highs and lows, and I was just going through a rough patch, and I was kind of um with my brother had just been my brother had just been broken up with. Sorry to throw my brother Max's stuff out, but and we were both kind of just like kind of not feeling very, very happy at that time, and Russell was kind of there hanging out with us, and we were all sitting around the piano and we were just playing around, you know, like having a good time. And then Russell sat next to me as I wrote a song, and he kind of just sat next to me, and that was just such an amazing moment to share with him. Um, yeah, I think that's probably my favorite memory.
That's a Not only is that a beautiful memory, and thank you for sharing that, but that just also makes me think of another dimension of all this, which is that we have these. You're a guy, and there we all in our culture we have these ideas of masculinity. And one thing that I don't think
We do.
came out tonight in our discussion is you met Russell like from through sports. You both played soccer, right?
Yeah, so Russell was basically my brother and I's first, like, one of our first friends ever when we moved to America. Max and Russell, my brother Max and Russell were in the same grade, and they played soccer together. They were on soccer teams, and then I would tag along to anything I could to play with them, but I was never as good as them. Russell was just the most incredible athlete. He had like a 5 minute mile. It was just totally unrealistic for what my athletic goals were at the time. But yeah, so we had basically that was how we met was through football soccer, and then he really
I knew
just
you were going to
became.
say football.
Yeah, I
I
had
was
to. I had
wondering
to.
if you really think of it as soccer.
I had to, but that was kind of how we became friends, and then he just became a part of my family. He was just at my house incessantly, um, and yeah, and us at his. That's kind of how it was.
Yeah, that's amazing. And part of the reason I bring that up, though, in terms of that aspect of it, is that um, you're guys, you're playing sports,
Yeah,
and yet the memory you shared of sitting with you at the, I assume at the piano or however you were doing it while you compose a song,
yeah.
is so. I don't know if there's the word that comes to mind is intimate. I mean, that's just like, and that's just a beautiful example of just people getting past all the whatever and just being that's true friendship.
Thank you. Yeah, I mean it really is, and I think that is so important because mental health. It's people don't always necessarily know this, but it's a lot of men struggle with suicidal thoughts, and um, we don't always talk about it as much because there is that masculinity, those stereotypes of masculinity, and I think that is so important that guys, especially, both guys and girls, but a lot of guys start to feel more comfortable with talking about that, and kind of having those, sharing those intimate moments with each other. You know, there's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, that's right. So that was such a great memory that you just shared.
Thank you.
That's wonderful. Our next question is, what are your thoughts on using creative outlets to express our pain and finding hope?
I think it's one of the most beautiful things that we have in life is to I mean I'm not particularly, this is the only form of art that I'm good at. I recently tried painting with my girlfriend, and it went horribly. I am so, but the fact that we have these, there are these outlets, I think they are so crucial. It's songwriting has helped me through my entire life, and I'm so lucky to be able to do it. I think it really does help express that pain and that emotion, wherever emotion, if it's a happy emotion or if it's a sad emotion that we're processing. I think it's such an important thing, and it's such a good way to kind of help that come out and help process that, and especially with finding hope, because then you've created something, whether it be a little drawing or painting or a line in a song, which I think is a lot of hope. So
Yeah, that's great. And it's, whether it's music or a creative expression or some other thing, we all need stuff to kind of like coping strategies, kind of, if we're upset about something or we need to just kind of like process things and get out of our heads in a way. Um,
absolutely,
music for you, or writing for someone else, or for some people it's sports, or some people it's
exactly,
having coffee with a friend or whatever. We all have our own specific things. And, for people, some people have more serious mental health conditions that they manage. And that might involve, not just like self-care. It might involve, um, going to see a mental health professional. It might involve medication for some people, whatever it is, but we all need that support. And
absolutely.
that's lovely to hear about how music is that for you.
Thank you.
Um, So the next question is, what's the best advice to help you get through anxiety that you can give to someone?
You know, I think, just I can only speak personally because I'm not a mental health professional, but I think, I've tried many things. You know, I went through, especially during American Idol, I kind of started having a lot of anxiety. Just going through that, and then I was so, well, anyway, I could talk about that for ages. I could talk about that for ages, and we'll go off on a tangent that we just like can't pull back from. So, I think anxiety is normal. It's, I think we all deal with it. The best advice, I think talking to someone always helps. Like I mentioned earlier, I talk to someone. I think it's really important. It always helps me. Whether that be a mental health professional, a friend, family. I'm so lucky. I always know I have my mom to go to. She's kind of like my light. She's just, I think, just trying to talk about it, and I tried meditation for a little while, which worked a bit, and just trying to stay present in the moment, I think, and just try to focus on a few things that you're feeling, just some of your senses sometimes can help me sometimes be more in the moment, when my anxiety just starts to spiral, because I mean we're all in the middle of a pandemic. We're in just wild times. It's completely unprecedented, as I'm sure you've heard on every infomercial, every commercial. Like, we're in unprecedented times, but we are, and it's very isolating. We're all very isolated. Drug overdoses, suicides have gone. The rates have gone up
They
tremendously.
actually, let me stop you. Actually, I have some very hopeful news.
Wow.
So a lot of people are thinking that the rates have gone up. If anyone says that, they don't know what they're talking about because we
Okay.
actually don't get the statistics until it's like a year out of date.
Wow.
Um,
Okay.
and what we know is that people are, and I didn't mean to correct you, but
Oh
I,
no,
I
no, no,
think
I
it's helpful
appreciate it.
for people
I'm
to know.
always thank you. Yes.
It's important for people to know. I think more people are, we're all experiencing, a lot of us are experiencing stress and things like that because of these unprecedented times, these uncertain times. But that doesn't necessarily translate into people taking their lives. People can be upset.
Wow. Yeah.
That doesn't necessarily mean that. And in fact, what we know of, we actually haven't seen any evidence of suicides going up.
Well,
So
that's
that's
fantastic.
amazing. And
That really is.
it's, I mean, it's sort of like cliched. I don't want to sound too cheesy about it when I say we're all in this together, because a lot of people are going through stuff that isn't exactly the same as all of us. Um, but yeah, if anyone out there is thinking, oh my God, the suicide rate is skyrocketing, that's actually not true. Um, but it is a tough time.
That's so
Like
good
it's
to
a
know.
really
That's
tough
so
time
nice
for
to
us.
know because I think there have been so many things kind of circulating which articles like circulating which say they are. So I'm so glad to know that. Um, but yeah, I mean, this is just very, very isolating times, very stressful times. Um, so yeah,
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely a time where I think people, and this is a good thing, are more and more aware of mental health and how we all have it. We all have to
absolutely.
take care of it. Um, so sorry to come in all hot there
No,
on
no,
that topic, but
thank you so much for doing so, Brett. Like you're the like, thank you. We
but
needed to know that. We needed to hear that. So appreciate
yeah,
it.
no, that's one of my favorite things to say lately because
Yeah,
I think there's reason for hope with that. Um,
massively.
and yeah, so I want to go to one kind of cleansing the palate kind of question before we take a couple more, if you're up for it. Here's a
Totally.
hard hitting question from one of your fans: cake or pie?
Oh, that's really hard hitting. I'm not sure. That's really hard because I feel, and I might just regret this, but in the moment right now, my brain is telling me pie because we just had Thanksgiving and I can't stop thinking how I wish I had more of the apple pie that was in my fridge at my house before my siblings got to it. So I gotta say pie.
I have to say, not that anyone's asking me, I mean, I love cake.
We'd love to know.
Um, but like when you cut into a cake, it's pretty much just like this dense, like sweet, nice thing. There's the icing, and that's a different layer. Pie, when you get into pie, and it's like if it's apple pie or maybe a pumpkin pie, it's like a whole other dimension that you're getting into. And nobody's gonna heat up cake with pie. You can eat it cold, you can heat it up, and that's a whole different experience.
I know. Cold is like, I love it cold. It's like sometimes I don't even bother to heat it up, mostly to be honest.
Um, and we'll get to one more serious question now. But here's the brilliant thing that I just thought of: cake is to pie as checkers is to chess.
It's that's amazing, Brett.
I'm
Mind
going to be in
blown.
so much trouble when we get off of this. They're going to not let me do this again.
No, you're not.
Um,
No, you're doing amazing.
actually, coming back to what we were just talking about, here's another question. What's something that's helped you get through this quarantine?
I think answering honestly, I think at times, I mean, obviously when we're all living together, and I mean, I'm sure a lot of people feel this way. It's very easy to kind of get on for family to get on each other's nerves when you're all living in the house for the basically at all times. But I think I've got to say my family, I've got to say my parents have helped me just them being there, just kind of having a very. I'm really lucky. I've kind of I have quite an open dialogue with them, and we I think my parents, I think my girlfriend has been a major help. You know, we've kind of been quarantined together a little bit, and just I think music has helped a lot. I think, you know, it's tough. Like, being honest, I mean, I'm quite a kind of a happy, goofy, kind of silly dude, but then I'm also quite an emotional guy at the same time, as I'm sure you probably maybe can or can't tell through these
The way you were
songs.
talking about pie just then.
I know exactly. So but like, it's this quarantine has been hard. It really has. You know, there are some days which are really tough, and there are some days which are fantastic. But I think music honestly has helped me, just getting up every day. Having this to kind of focus on has kind of helped me get through it. Um, but yeah, I mean, everyone's isolated, as we said earlier, so it's really just finding your coping skills. And I've been working out as much as I can, which helps my mental health a lot. I think it's really just finding what makes you feel good and what kind of makes your stress relieved, and finding those coping skills.
Yeah, and you know, you mentioned working out. That just makes me think of um, like those endorphin, like when you run or do that. The In all seriousness, it brings to mind how much I mentioned suicide prevention research before, and um, you know, the endorphins come out when you do that, and it changes how you feel, and it brings to mind of how, you know, suicide isn't, and mental health, it's not like some mysterious thing. Science is involved. That's why we need all that research happening,
You
and
do.
how we have already learned ways that statistically can help us save lives from that. So a little shout out to research. Um,
It's important. No, nothing would happen without it.
yeah, exactly. Um, so we have time for one more of these questions, and then we're going to hear a little music to close out the night. Um, this last question is sort of bringing it all back around, I think, to the song that kind of started it all in a way. Um, do you ever feel overwhelmed with love from Change?
That's a really good question, and I saw this question earlier on my basically on my Instagram feed, and I was, you know, the the day my audition aired on American Idol, I think it came out a couple days early as like a sneak preview release thing, and just the amount of support, that of messages on social media that I got, from just people all over the world. I mean, my friends and family too were texting me, but just the people all over the world that were messaging me saying thank you for sharing this, and saying that it really resonated with them, just meant more than words could ever describe. The fact that American Idol helped me kind of share that message. So big thank you to American Idol for that. But just getting that message out to people is so important, and that's exactly, I mean, what we're doing here. That's why you guys are, everyone at AFSP is just amazing. To continue to kind of help change the world. Sorry for that pun with my own song,
It had to be.
but
It had to happen.
yeah. So I think that the love was just incredible from Change. But then also I think that there have been times where a lot of people have messaged me saying, you know, I'm really struggling right now, and which is always, I think it's so important that we do talk about this. Um, but then there have been times where, you know, I've wanted to try to give more, and I've been wanting, I've been in conversations with people, and I want to help as much as I can. But at the end of the day, you know, I'm a 20-year-old dude who's just living those highs and lows too. And I go through depressive stages, and I go through really happy times, and I think so. Lately I've been trying to kind of just suggest reaching out to a mental health professional, because I am not one. Because that's the best step that we all can take. Or, I mean, really, just the first step is just having a real convo with our friends and family, and then kind of assessing the situation from there. But yeah, so thank you everyone for the love on change. It's been, I mean, this year's changed my life. Again, there's too many puns now. I should have chosen a less common word.
No, that word resonates with it has a lot of
Thank
meaning.
you.
So,
Thank you.
yeah, that just makes me think also about how, for anyone, when you're trying to be a good friend and support someone else, and having those conversations, again, the Real Convo guides will help you deal with those. One thing that we tell people is that it's not your job to be a mental health professional. It's just your job to be their friend and be a caring person and help encourage them to connect with the right kind of support. I also want to say we always talk about how, reach out for help, go see a mental health professional. No one in the field of mental health or suicide prevention is saying that that's always that easy or as easy as it should be. But I will say at the end of the day, help, it can be complicated to find the right person, and so forth, and get that help. But help is always available, whether it's through our friends at the National Suicide Prevention Lifeline or the Crisis Text Line. I'm sure we'll have a link below for, if you're going through a crisis. And those services, by the way, which are 24/7, if you're someone who's worried about someone, you can call them too and get advice. But help is always available. So
Yeah.
I just want to thank. Oh, sorry, Louis.
Oh no, sorry. I was just gonna say, and I think what you said, just being there. I think, and I remember that from the Convo guides. The most important thing that you can do is for a friend or loved one that you think, or you may not know if they are having a rough time, just be present. Say, hey, how are you? Let's talk about this. And don't put pressure on them, but just say that I'm here. If you want to talk, just be present. And I think that's the most important thing you can do if you're in a situation where a loved one or friend or family member might be suffering.
That's great. Well, I just want to thank you for answering that, Louis, and thank you, all of you watching, for those amazing questions.
Thank you for tuning in, and thank you for submitting your questions, everyone.
Yeah. So before we close out with one more song, I just want to encourage everyone to follow Louis on Instagram at Louis Knight Music, as well as checking out his website, louisknightmusic.com. And of course, if you want to help AFSP continue our work in being there for people affected by suicide and making our communities safer, consider donating and being a part of our, it's a hashtag, Give to AFSP campaign. The links for all of that are below. Louis, do you think you're ready to help us get in the holiday spirit with one more song?
Absolutely, yes. This is
wonderful.
This is Last Christmas. I just put this out, and all these songs that I've played, apart from London, are available on all streaming services, all platforms. Wherever you go listen to music, please go listen and give it a share. Yeah, this is Last Christmas. Let's see if I can remember the words. Last Christmas I gave you my heart, but the very next day you gave it away. This year, to save me from tears, I'll give it to someone special. Once bitten and twice shy, I'll keep my distance, but you still catch my eye. Tell me, baby, do you recognize me? Well, it's been a year, that doesn't surprise me. Merry Christmas, I wrapped it up and sent it with a note saying I love you, I meant it. Now I know what a fool I've been, but if you kiss me now, I know you'd fool me again. Last Christmas I gave you my heart, but the very next day you gave it away. This year, to save me from tears, I'll give it to someone special. Last Christmas I gave you my heart, the very
very next day you gave it away. This year, to save me from tears, I'll give it to someone special. A crowded room, friends with tired eyes. I'm hiding from you and your soul of ice. My God, I thought you were someone to rely on. Me, I guess I was a shoulder to cry on, a face on a lover with a fire in his heart. A man undercover, but you tore me apart. Now I found a real love, you'll never fool me again. Last Christmas I gave you my heart, but the very next day you gave it away. This year, to save me from tears, I'll give it to someone special. Last Christmas I gave you my heart, the very next day you gave it away. This year, to save me from tears, I'll give it to someone special. A face on a lover with a fire in his heart. A man undercover, but you tore him apart. Maybe next year I'll give it to someone special.
Thank you everyone so much for joining. Thank you for having me. It's an honor to be a part of this Real Convo concert series. And yeah, thank you for tuning in. I hope you're doing well. I hope you're safe wherever you are. I hope your friends and family are safe and well. And I love you guys. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Louis, for this.
You.
I mean, by the way, if you're out there doing the Whamageddon thing and you were trying to
Whamageddon, I learned about that today.
That's one of my favorite songs, and I think it says something that you did such an amazing cover of it that kind of transcended the original for me.
Thank you so
much. Thank you for sharing your music with us tonight. And I want to thank everyone for watching. You can check out the links below for how to follow Louis, get more information on AFSP's website about suicide. And I'll just give a little shout out to our walks. We have the Out of the Darkness walks through our local chapters everywhere. You can tap in your zip code to find your local chapter. And you would think we wouldn't be walking right now because of the pandemic, but the Out of the Darkness, that whole movement is still going strong through Out of the Darkness experiences that are physically distant and safe. It's really amazing and something to check out in your own community to help join this movement to stop suicide. It's really an amazing thing being surrounded by so many other people who are in it with you. So thank you again, Louis, and good night, everybody.
Good night, everyone.